Meditate, manifest, invest in you. Join me on my spiritual journey as I elevate myself and like-minded listeners to a higher level mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for listening. This is Black Hippie Lounge, and I am your host, Chanel. All right, good afternoon. Today is October 27th. And I have a little bit of free time right now in between like work meetings. So I figured I was gonna do episode. I was supposed to do it yesterday, but I just got tired. So I just wanted to do an episode based on like what's coming up, which is the voting. Right now, you can do early voting. You just have to check with your local area where you can go to vote early. You can send in you can drop off your ballot into the box too. That's what I did yesterday actually. If you had already previously like signed up to receive it by mail, so you don't have to be bothered with the lines and stuff. And there's a link. I can put it when I post this episode. There's a link to check the status of your ballot, like making sure they got it. Especially with recently, there was the Copley drop off. Someone lit it on fire, the box. So I'm really interested to see what they're gonna do about that. I haven't actually been able to check in on that. So yeah, just be careful, the location that you choose to drop it off. Definitely wouldn't say go to Copley, but there's a bunch of other ones. Like there's so many. If you go like to it's like Boston. Maybe not Boston.com, but there's like that Boston site that always has information. It's Boston.gov. It has a lot of information on there about where to go to vote early. But anyway, just make sure you vote. So the official voting day is Tuesday, November 3rd. So today is the 27th, so it's a week from today. If you're not voting early, then you could do Tuesday, November 3rd, to go and vote. I'm sure there will be crazy lines, so I push for people to try to vote early, not even just to avoid the lines, but you just, based on this whole, like the way things are and how things have been, you just want to kind of avoid the craziness. So voting early is definitely suggested. But do what you can as long as you vote. Just please vote. So early voting was it started October 17th and it ends this Friday, October 30th. So you still have time. Today's only Tuesday, so you still have time to get out there and go early vote. Definitely making sure that you're registered. I hope people had already registered before. I'm not really sure. Hold on. The deadline to register was Saturday, October 24th, but I really hope that people had already just been registered to vote. And you can find out your voter status. There's many ways to find out, but that Boston.gov site, it does have a link that will let you find out your voter registration status and where you are registered to vote, and where you can also just where like the drop ballots boxes are. They're usually at like libraries. That's what it seems like they're putting them, and you can't miss it. It's labeled and everything, so you just you have to put it in the envelope that's given. That if you chose the mail option, and you just drop it in, and you can check again. There's a link that I'll put that you can check the status of your ballot to make sure that they got it. But yeah, there's definitely a history of voting when it comes to Black people. We weren't allowed to vote, so it's very important that we get out there and vote. And even if it wasn't like that history of that, it's just like, in my opinion, it's common sense. Like, why would you not make your voice heard, or give your opinion of what you want? That's how you get what you want, is when you know do what's necessary to get there. I feel like if you don't vote, then you really can't sit there and complain about when things go bad, because you could have been, maybe you wouldn't have, maybe your vote wouldn't have saved everything, but it could definitely have made an impact. So I can't tell people who to vote for, but definitely. So the candidates are obviously Donald Trump and Joe Biden. So those are the two people that you have to choose from to vote. And again, not telling people which way to go. It's just, I don't know, man. Please just make the smart decision. Like, let's not play games anymore. I think that we've played quite enough. I'm quite done with this Jumanji game of 2020. Let's not egg it on. Let's get our minds right. Okay. Please don't play around, putting Kanye and, Boo Boo the Fool, whoever else you want to write in. Like, if you're going to do that, then don't even waste the time in the paper for that. Just stay at home and deal with the consequences, because that is what it's going to be. We've already been dealing with consequences all of 2020. So if you love playing this game, best of luck to you, because this is not a game. This is real life. And to be real, it's already, 2020 has already gotten real. But if things go left, it can get even worse. And I'm not even really trying to go there to see. It's funny to talk about and be like, oh my gosh, like, if this fool gets reelected, and then what's gonna happen. But like, I don't even want to give that any energy, because I'm really not trying to even go there. Because I feel like I've worked too hard to get to where I'm at, and I don't have time for games with people. So I don't even want to entertain the idea of him staying in office, because that'll be a dangerous game, for people to play. Things have already gotten so bad. I mean, if COVID alone doesn't, and how that's affected everyone, whether it be financially, mentally, physically, etc. If that hasn't, like, you seeing the results of that, and the way that he chose to handle it, if that doesn't wake you up, then I don't know what will really help you. So yes, I'm just really encouraging people to please get out and vote, and do the right thing for you. You're literally, you're voting for your future. So it depends on which way you want it to go, which way you want it. That's really up to you. And I really do encourage people to get out and vote, and hope that everyone is making their voice heard, because this is what our ancestors fought for. This is what they died for. And again, it's not about, like, necessarily, because I know that some people have this notion that, like, okay, well, just because my ancestors died for it, it doesn't mean, like, it's easy to say, like, okay, my vote, it's not going to make a difference. But again, like I'm saying, like, I'd rather vote and know that at least, like, I tried to make my opinion out there, and try to do the quote unquote right thing to make the right person, or the lesser of the evils, into the office, so that things can get stabilized again, and then things can get better, and go back to slightly the way things were before. Or you can not participate at all, and then when things go bad, it's like you really can't get mad about it. You really can't complain. So yeah, I don't necessarily want to give a whole history lesson on voting, but obviously, Black people, just like anything else, we weren't allowed to do it. And especially Black women, we definitely weren't. We were like the last of the last. So that alone, should just motivate people to get out and vote. A lot of people are of age to vote this year, so that's important that they know, you need to be registered. Like I said, find out your voter status, find out where you're registered to vote. Make sure you do your research on the candidates, and know, exactly why you're choosing who you choose, and making sure that their stance on various topics aligns with what you are looking for in a leader for yourself and your life. So there's that. But definitely, it's real out here. Like recently, and things are just it's gonna escalate. But there was recently, someone burned the I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm blanking. Someone lit the Copley ballot box on fire, after people had already been putting their ballots in there. So there's that. And I feel like things like that are just going to continue to keep happening. So please just be careful, be safe, and making sure that you are just being aware of your surroundings, being aware of what's going on. Make sure you're aware of watching the news, I guess, and like just staying up to date on things. There was recently a shooting as well, in Philadelphia. I just found out during my work meeting earlier, that they shot, I believe they killed a young autistic guy. I believe he was autistic. That's what the information that was told to me. I don't have the full info, so don't quote me on it. But anyway, just things are getting crazy. I saw on Twitter, like there was a cop in New York and he was using the loudspeaker to say like vote for Trump. So that's clearly definitely not what he's supposed to be doing. That's not a part of his job. So when you have things like that, it's just things have been getting real from the jump, but it's like this week is gonna get real. Next week is gonna be leading up into that is gonna be crazy. And then also Halloween is on Saturday, so I feel like people already act crazy with stuff like with Halloween, so you're adding on this, it can be dangerous. Just remember, you know what I mean, like certain types of people, like, okay, I'm gonna use this term that I found from a girl on Twitter, like snow possums. Okay, they like to play games, like dangerous games, and when it's Halloween, snow possums, they act like, they don't have any type of common sense, and they do just very dumb things. So, and they can hide behind a mask or a costume for it. So just beware of snow possums, like, because they, like I said, they like to play games. I went to school with them. They like to play games, and especially with this whole thing, this election and stuff, like, they like to play games that can be dangerous, and you just don't want to get caught up in anything with them. Just be aware of your surroundings, still having fun. If you choose to go and celebrate Halloween some type of way, I have no idea how you would, except for a private party, because things are shut down. But whatever you do, just making sure that you're staying safe, and being aware of your surroundings, not getting into it with people, just doing you, and stay safe. Have a good group of people with you that have their head on straight and are just looking to have fun and not really get involved in any issues. You just don't want anybody to get hurt. So I did find the thing that I was talking about. It said if you use the Dropbox in Copley Square between 2:30 p.m. yesterday and 4 a.m. today, please contact Boston Elections immediately to check the status of your ballot, because of what happened. Someone setting it on fire, setting the ballot box on fire in Copley Square. So you have to check your status. You can use that link, or you can contact them to see, what's going on. If you use that ballot box to drop your ballot off. So yeah, really, I just wanted to get that out there about the voting information, and just making sure that people are aware. Again, you can vote on the 3rd this week up until Friday. You can do early voting. Yes, there are lines, but I mean, there's gonna be lines regardless. So just do what is the best way for you. You can do it by the mail. Like I say, you can still drop it off at the ballot boxes if you had it sent in. So there's that. So please make sure you're doing what you need to be doing in regards to voting, and just get out there and make sure your voice is getting heard, because it's important. So also, I was gonna read a excerpt from this book really quick. It says, pain is different from suffering. Pain refers to uncomfortable physical or emotional sensations. Chinese medical practitioners say that pain is a blockage of qi, of vital life force. Suffering, on the other hand, is your response to pain, how you think and feel about the sensations. A certain amount of pain is unavoidable in life, but as the saying goes, suffering is optional. It is amplified by the stories you tell yourself regarding the pain. Your fearful, untrue thoughts can be your worst enemy. For instance, my back pain will never improve as compared to, this is just a temporary setback and I will be better than ever when I recover. Suffering is also intensified by resisting painful sensations. Tensing up makes it worse, but doing your best to relax and breathe into the pain will lessen your suffering. So the more you can still your mind and surrender to spirit, the less discomfort you will experience. Here's a formula to remember. Over-control plus overthinking equals pain in your physical and emotional body. So let go and think less to minimize the suffering you experience. So the intention for today can be, when I'm in pain, I will be gentle with myself. I will not focus on fear or imagine the worst in a situation. I will keep a peaceful mind to limit my suffering. So really, it's just like, when we are suffering, suffering is optional, right? So when we deal with pain, which can be in the form of like some type of thing that just goes wrong in our lives, and it causes us to have stress, which can lead to overthinking and emotional pain, headaches, etc., stuff like that. However stress might affect you, it's basically saying that when just be gentle with yourself. Don't focus on the bad and the fear and imagining the worst, because you're going to make it way worse than what it is already. Just try to keep a peaceful mind. Try to remain positive. Try to do things to not necessarily distract you, but ease your nerves and ease your mind. Whether that be hanging out with certain people who can bring you comfort, because it's temporary. Anything that's throws you off is temporary. It's just you're in control of how long it lasts, depending on how you choose to react. When things might go bad, your reaction really does determine the length of the stay of these things being in your life, and how bad it's going to get. Not saying everybody's human. It's okay to get upset, get worried, get angry, sad, scared, whatever. But it's just like, you have to recognize that allow yourself to have those feelings, but keep going through the feelings. Don't stay in one feeling. If you're sad, don't stay sad about it, because you're not changing the situation. You're just adding to it and feeding into it and making it way worse than what it could probably needs to be. Ask for help, talk to somebody, write out solutions, ask people who may have been in the same situation for resources, things like that. Just don't stay there in that mess. Don't stay in the mud. Don't stay dirty. Wash yourself off and figure out how to keep going, because it's not going to be the first or the last time that you get knocked down. And it's easy to get into a pattern of like feeling bad for yourself, or just like losing your drive if things don't go right or something like that. But you know, life goes on, and it does. Like every minute of the day, someone is taking their first or their last breath. And it's like, knowing that, especially the last breath one, it's like you really have to, if you're awake and you're up and you're moving and you're able to do that, then take advantage of the hours in the day. And whatever's going on in your life, just use it as a lesson but you have to keep going. You can't get stagnant. You can't feel bad for yourself. You can't do that. You have to just keep going, because you are all you got. You are all you have in this world. You know, you come in here by yourself and you leave by yourself. So you better make sure you ride with yourself. You better be a ride or die for yourself, more than anything. And it's hard times. It's hard, but you have to you build your own character. You build who you are in your mindset. So if you have a mind over matter mindset, nothing is going to hold you back for long. You're in charge of your life. You're in charge of your emotions. You're in charge of how you choose to deal with things. So that's your choice. And hopefully that you make the right choice to stay strong and keep persevering through whatever it is that you might face in life. Because again, you can sit there and cry about one thing, but those other problems are still going to come. It's not going to be like, he or she is dealing with one problem, so we'll just wait. No, like when you fester in one problem, you're literally opening up the door for other problems to come through too, and you become overwhelmed, and then it's like a flight or flight situation, so yeah, that's how I got to this topic from this quote. But basically just making sure you don't allow yourself to suffer. Suffering is optional. So make sure you're telling yourself positive things, positive stories, positive information about yourself, positive solutions, and believe them too. You can't just tell yourself, you have to believe it for it to manifest. So the other thing I was going to say is that Saturday is a full moon. So I encourage people to do a full moon ritual for yourself. So I think the last full moon, I posted information about full moon. Meditating on the moon, on the harvest moon. So some of the information, you can go to the post, it's still there. It'll tell you like some things to think about. But some questions you can think about is, what goals have I aimed for this year? Like where you are in your life, and like really taking the time to write down some things that you are trying to still manifest for yourself, some things that you're trying to change for yourself, what you really want, and what you do. You can, that day, night, whatever, you light. Well, yeah, I think that night when the moon is out, the full moon, you light your candle, and you could sage your house. But lighting your candle and just saying out loud, like asking for what you want. Don't just ask. You have to ask and believe that it's, that you deserve it and that it's yours. That's really the boost that it gives for it to come about. You can ask for whatever. You can ask for $1 million, but just if you don't believe that you're actually going to get it, then there's really no point in asking for it. So yeah, it's like a form of meditation you're doing. You're speaking things into existence for yourself with the full moon. So I encourage people to try to practice that too, and also just have fun, if you can, because that's Halloween. So yes, I know I haven't really been making a lot of episodes. I've just been kind of taking time for myself, getting things together. So, but I wanted to do this episode to touch bases with people about with the information about voting, full moon, and this excerpt that I found about like pain, because I feel like a lot of people are going through things this year. It's been rough, and you're not the only person dealing with it. So you can talk to people, reflect, and don't be hard on yourself. That's like the main thing, is I don't want people to be hard on themselves, because it's easy to get into that pattern of beating yourself up for not being in a certain place in life or whatever, or maybe goals that you had for this year that you aren't able to accomplish because of COVID or anything, or how things have changed this year. You're not the only person, and don't beat yourself up over it. Just use it as a stepping stone, and just keep going and figure out a plan B, plan C, whatever. Just keep making plans and doing something. Don't get stagnant. So I hope everybody has a good week. Again, get out and vote. Do what you need to do, but vote. Don't be hard on yourself. Just keep taking things one at a time, one day at a time. Ride the wave. And I hope that everybody keep your head up and remain positive. Speak positively to yourself. And manifest good things for yourself, manifest blessings for yourself, and believe in that you deserve it and that it will come to you, because it will. So again, hope you guys have a great week. And as always, this is Chanel, and I'm the host of Black Hippie Lounge. And meditate, manifest, invest in you.